I remember coming into the school, and it was 2 years old, and I think it was really about how can we make the school even more welcoming, because it was brand new. Even after 2 years, it was a work in progress. It was still brand new. And in talking with different people, and what can we do, and we came up with a few things. And the library, the furniture in the school was old. Even though the school was brand new, the furniture was old in the school. So the library, Antoinette Brillinger's, we were able to get a lot of what looked like new furniture brought into the school, and we made the library a better place to be for the students by bringing in new round tables and chairs, moving the stacks in the library, so it could be a welcoming place for the students to spend time there, especially with if they're on a spare doing work, somewhere to visit, go at lunchtime. So we wanted to encourage that in the school with our students. Another thing that I was always big on is the Catholicity in a school. We are Catholic schools, and certainly the culture of the school, we want it to be one where we're coming together as a Catholic community, but we also want to have the physical presence of being a Catholic school. So we looked towards the chapel, and going out and getting things to bring to the chapel that would make it a place where both students and staff, again, about a welcoming place, and getting the students to come and the staff to come, because we had our monthly masses for the staff. We had retreats, not so much in the chapel per se, but different things that were going on, chaplaincy team, a lot of the students. So we wanted it to be a welcoming place as well. And around the school, how do we get all that student work that people can see? We ended up buying all kinds of bulletin boards so that all of the departments could get their student work out into the hallways. So probably that was a big focus in the first couple of years, was how can we make Monsignor Johnson even more welcoming by its physical presence. And it's because it had a big history of being a community, a Catholic community where kids would come into the school and feel welcomed. And I think the focus also, as we were moving along during my principalship, was about the kind of programming we could allow for our students. And I notice here behind me is the Health and Wellness SHSM. When they were introducing that from the government to the board level, to the school level, we had conversations with our staff, and again, we had the business SHSM open the year I was here, and we had everything prepared for the health and wellness, which opened in September after I retired. But it was about programming all around the school, all kinds of conversations with co-op, what can we do with our students who are interested in going out to explore work, OYAP, the Youth Apprenticeship Program. Also, Monsignor Johnson was actually my neighborhood high school when I was growing up. In terms of the land, it was not Monsignor Johnson when I was a student, but this is the high school that I would have gone to, so it actually was very special for me in that these were the neighborhood kids that I could easily have grown up with that were coming to the school. So we realized that there were a lot of students that in the neighborhood that potentially should have been coming to Johnson, but maybe we're choosing programs elsewhere that maybe Johnson wasn't offering. So that was for the specialist high skills major, the OYAP, but we also talked about having advanced placement, enrichment programs from grade 9 to 12, so that the students, all students could realize that they could come to Johnson and get themselves involved in a large variety of programming, including hairdressing, which that program grew. Again, likely one of the reasons being the spa industry has just blossomed over the last 10 years, and a lot of students were interested in the types of things that were going on in the hairstyling class. So programming was important too. So, and the school, and just the whole nature of the community of the school, for both the staff and the students, because I wanted it to be a place where students and staff would come to work every day and be happy. And they would go home happy and come back the next day happy. Johnson was always about community. And as Ms. Fulmer tells me, Communitas is the name of the yearbook for community. And there was a strong leadership program at Johnson. And there were a lot of clubs, lots of athletics, art, music. But with Dominic Racco, to build on the peer facilitators program, Claudia Gerardo started up with Antoinette Berlinger, the grade 9 leadership program as well. So it was really a program that ran for 4 years. And we wanted to add to that, and so we ended up having a leadership council, which meant that every club in the school could have a seat at the table, and we would meet, and every club would send a representative. And we would sit and we would talk about all of the events that were coming up. And every club would have some part in it so that people could feel part of the school, and student council included as well, so that everybody wouldn't just think that one group ran the school. It would be all of the students had a say through the clubs that they belonged to. And every time that there was a major event, the different organizations would play a role at the event. And I'm thinking of things like bullying prevention. If we had a day for that, we would often have activities at lunchtime. And so all of the groups would do something for that kind of event and would be representative of all of the students in the school. So that was the Leadership Council. At Johnson, the one thing was that students could come and feel safe every day. Safe to learn, safe to play, safe to do after-school programming. And we have graduates, depending on what they wanted to do, they could go through an academic program, they could be in an academic program still and go and be in the youth apprenticeship program. They could go to the workplace when they graduated. They can go to university. They could go to college. But over the years, there's been lots of students who have gone to Johnson and have left and done very well with their families and their friends. And I see them. I live locally. I only live 10 minutes away. And I see students at the mall, at Home Depot, and they tell me about what they're doing nowadays. And I always hear good things, and I always hear good things about their experience at Johnson. I can't think of any student that I've met that has not been happy with their time here at Johnson. And I can honestly say that every day that I came to work, in the office, the secretaries, the caretakers, the guidance department, all of the staff, the EAs, everybody who worked here, and especially the students, that I did not have a good day where I genuinely could laugh, have even a belly laugh at work. And sure, there were times when I had to think things through and how are we going to fix this, but it was always fixable. And even if there were students that were, having problems at the time in their lives, somehow we could get through that. And it was always about having relationships, and really the relationships would be with those students and with their parents. I always felt that our parent community was like our second teacher outside the school. And if we worked with our parents, we had a strong parent council when I was here. If we worked with our parents and worked with our students, we could make things even better for their children and my students. So it was always a good thing. I have to say, when I first came to Johnson as, actually, the very first day I met the staff, I came from my school that I was at, Blessed Mother Teresa, and the staff was all in the cafeteria, and I walked from my car in through the front doors, and the line of windows in the cafeteria had the entire staff all lined up, and they were all pounding on the windows as I walked those 40 yards into the front door. So it was a very welcoming time for me with the staff. So that would have taken place at the end of June. When I came in September and met all of the students, just by being here and being in the atrium, Johnson is a unique building because you can stand in the middle of the building as a principal during O Canada, and the second floor and the third floor are surrounded by windows for at least 3/4 of the building. And you can see all of the students and the staff at any time during the day. But during O Canada, it was always fun to look up and see the students in geography looking in their classroom, obviously, lined up. And any student that was late would be standing. But it was always fun to see those people. And stopped for O Canada and for prayer. But you could see that it was a process too for the students to understand me at that time. I know that we implemented a late line. I'm only saying this for those students who remember that late line because they were in it every day. But it gave me an opportunity to talk to the students in the late line. Certainly, before a long weekend, I would often, or probably most of the time, walk around the school and say hello to every classroom and wish them a good weekend. So the uniqueness of the building lends itself to that. And again, being able to look up and see Tim Allen making sure that everybody was doing their thing in his hallway was always fun. It was fun to come to work every day. I can't remember one day where I didn't want to come to work because it was fun. We had 1,000+ students on any given day, and I used to have to remind staff sometimes that these are teenagers. And sometimes they may not do exactly what we want them to do, but that was the fun part of being in a high school with 1,000 kids, is because you didn't always know what to expect. So it was always a fun day, and it was always fun to be with the staff and hear their stories about what was going on and what they needed. And it was always fun to come in and say hello to our secretaries and the people in guidance, and certainly all of the other people that would come through the office, but whoever I met in the hallway. And all of the students too. I found that at Johnson, I think that expression goes a long way. You know, you have to give respect to get respect. One of the special places that I would love to go visit is if I wanted to sneak out of the office, just to put a smile on my face, is I would go down to our DDME classroom and go in and visit with the teachers and with the students there, and they were always happy to see me, just like I was happy to see them. And they would show me what they were working on that day, and I could just sit down, and nobody would be like bothering me in the sense that they wanted something. It was always that it was a great place to visit, and all those kids, certainly the years that they spent at Johnson, I remember especially at the Christmas concerts, where their class always put on a little skit, and the entire school would be in the atrium area overlooking this group of students doing, whether it was singing or dancing or both.